can take y'all back to a little history. I believe it was the year 2005. Do you remember who the worst defensive team in basketball was that year? Y'all remember?
I wouldn't be able to tell you off top.
It was the it was the Phoenix.
I mean, I know who the best teams were. They were in the finals with San Antonio and Detroit.
It was the Phoenix Suns. It was the Phoenix Suns. Didn't they go to the Western Conference Finals? You had a coach at Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah, they were the number one offensive team.
But let me explain. You had a team in the Phoenix Suns with a coach that would damn near bench you for playing defense. That's how awful they were. He didn't want you playing any defense. You understand? Let them score. Keep up the pace. Keep up the pace. But they were prolific. But they were prolific offensively. So what I'm saying to you is that I know that's not the Lakers. But if Luka is clicking with AR and LeBron offensively, I'm saying you can make a run. I'm not saying they're going to win the championship. I'm saying you can make a run. If we're still talking about the Lakers going deep into the month of May, that's a win. That's a win.
Without a doubt.
We're seeing LeBron. We're seeing Luka. We're seeing Crypto.com Arena. We're seeing Purple and Gold. We're seeing Lakers Nation. I'm saying because your defense is so suspect, your offense has to be clicking. We can say a lot of things about the Lakers, but what we can't say is that it's an impossibility that their offense at times can be explosive. If that's the case, you got a chance to make a little run. That's all I'm talking about, Wendy. That's all I'm talking about, Amon. When I see LeBron doing that, that's when I get excited. Not because of his damn triple-double at age 41 when he's already the all-time leading scorer, a four-time champion, a four-time league MVP, one of the top 2 or 3 greatest players in the history of basketball. I know all of this already. That ain't nothing. To me, LeBron could do that in his sleep. What I'm saying is, wait a minute. If he continues to do that in key pivotal moments and Luka and AR show up, they could possibly make a run. That is a reason to get excited. That's all I'm saying. Of course, there's a lot of ifs. When do you come on the air with ifs every day about NBA teams? You know that. What day do you not come on the air with ifs? Every day.
All right, we just ended that segment with Wendy saying you're right. So let's just keep that in mind. By the way, LeBron at 41 does get a week off now. They're on their All-Star break. They'll play the Clippers in their first game back. Let's move to what the league decided yesterday. They came under fire lately for effort and tanking, and on Thursday evening, fines came down. The NBA fining the Utah Jazz $500,000 and the Indiana Pacers $100,000, citing both teams set healthy players in recent games. The league also noted that anything compromising the NBA's integrity will not be tolerated. Well, after this was posted, Utah owner Ryan Smith took to social media and said, quote, "Agree to disagree. Also, we won the game in Miami and got fined. That makes sense," end quote. So what's it going to take to curb the tanking? Clearly, of the Utah owner not agreeing with this, fines have come down, which we talked about yesterday, SA. Do you think the fines will suffice? Stephen A., what do you think?
Listen, I think the fines need to be stiffer. And two things can be true. The owner for the Utah Jazz can have a point, but Wendy, who was on Get Up earlier, made a very, very valid point about how this is a warning sign. This is a deterrent. You want to make sure to send the message that, listen, it's being watched, and we're not going to be tolerating it because we have a fan base to pay attention to, an audience to pay attention to, who go about the business of patronizing our product and our brand that enabled us to sign an 11-year, $77 billion deal. This is what comes with it, folks. And so as a result of that, if you're doing something that remotely comes close to compromising the integrity of the game in our eyes, we're going to make sure you feel a pinch. I personally don't think it's enough. I think no fine should be for less. I'm talking about fines along these lines, whether it be the tank and load management, whatever. I don't think any fine should be less than 7 figures. I think you want to send the message that we're not playing games, and the owners should be in on it with you, because anything that sustains or uplifts the integrity of the game, league teams and owners stand to benefit exponentially. What's the problem? You're taking one for the team. In every line of work, in every line of business, when you are at the top of the heap, you find yourself in a position where you got to take one for the team because you're the face of a brand, you're the face of a franchise or whatever. And some things may not be your fault. You may not be culpable you might not be at fault. But in the end, because of the appearance, the optics of it, a message has to be sent that the problem is being dealt with. So rather than the owner going out there and tweeting something, in resistance to what Adam Silver is doing, how about embracing it on behalf of the league? You want to make sure that you give no contribution whatsoever to that kind of imagery affecting a brand that's worth billions upon billions of dollars. This is what comes with it. Suck it up and deal with it. It's a deterrent, and it's a message that's necessary to be a deterrent for those in the future who are thinking about doing such things. I think the fine should have been stiffer.
Okay, Aman, 7-figure fines. You think that'll fix the tanking problem we seem to have in the NBA?
I don't know. I've been a part of, the load management conversations with teams wanting to take the fine. I think that however the team decides they want to go, I think that's what they'll do. I think there will be teams that will still tank and just take the fine. I think there's going to be the same way it was for load management. I remember back a couple years ago, San Antonio doing it. Everybody had a problem with it. They looked everybody in the camera and said, we don't care. They continue to do so, and they end up having a pretty good season. So I understand what's going on with that. Does a 7-figure tax really hurt somebody to make them stop? It's up to the team, and it's up to what's going on at the moment. I understand that fans want to see guys play. I don't like when they do it. I'm not a fan of it personally. But as far as a team doing it, I don't think that any fine will come in between whether or not a team is trying to go for a pick and get a player that's coming out in the upcoming season.
Wendy.
So first off, I'm going to say the fine is insignificant. I'm not saying that it doesn't affect Ryan Smith to pay $500,000. I'm just saying it's insignificant. The second thing I'm going to say is I have an announcement to make. And I need you all to hold me accountable to this announcement for the next 3 months because it's going to get tough. It's going to be challenging. I'm giving the tankers a pass. I'm giving them a pass. I could sit here and go chapter and verse of some of the stuff that I'm seeing in Utah, some of the stuff I'm seeing in Washington, in Sacramento, in Indiana. But you know what? I can't blame them, Shay, because they are incentivized to do this. And so therefore, I am determining that these are good people who are good at their jobs, having to make bad decisions because they're incentivized to do so. We see this across humankind. People are sometimes incentivized to do things that are not, for the greater good. They're incentivized to do this. The way that everything is set up, you are incentivized to lose. And so I can say what the Jazz are doing, and I can say I disagree with it, but I can't look at you and say that if I was Ryan Smith or I was Will Hardy or I was Austin Ainge, that I wouldn't do it. And so really what Adam Silver is trying to do here is he's trying to hold his finger in the dam because he's now we're in mid-February and he's looking at the landscape and he realizes that there's about to be a disaster when this thing breaks because we're going to have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams not trying to win. And he's trying with this to send a message over the bow, please stop, otherwise we're going to get more serious. But they have to change the fundamental issues. Without changing the incentive, you will not change the behavior. You know this with a toddler, and it's true even in billion-dollar businesses.
True.
Well, let me say this. I get where you're coming from, and you're right, Wendy. And I want to state for the record that tanking, to me, is not nearly as big of a problem as load management. I know that sometimes people lump it in with one another for obvious reasons because, you're trying to win. But there is nothing. I mean, listen, the New York Knicks got Ewing. You know what I'm saying? You've got a situation where the San Antonio Spurs, they did it 3 times. They did it for David Robinson. They did it for Tim Duncan. And they did it for Victor Wembanyama. This is what they've done. Okay, we all know this. Obviously you look in Orlando with Shaq, and the list goes on and on. Anytime you have an opportunity to get a generational talent, and it's going to go the way of ping pong balls or anything that would manipulate draft position, you're going to do that. That's how it goes. We understand it. And to a lesser degree, it happens in the NFL, where the worst team gets the number 1 overall pick. You see sometimes a team win and you're going berserk. What the hell you win for? You don't even know how to lose. You were supposed to lose so you get the high draft pick. What are you doing? So we see tanking, and it's not that big of an issue to the public. The big issue is the load management, because the load management has been a disgrace to the game, where you have healthy scratches or people that look like healthy scratches. Well, wait a minute here. You played last night, but you couldn't play the next night, even though you walked off the court and was looking absolutely fine. And then 2 nights later, you playing again. Well, how? That's just taking a game up. That's just taking a game off. You were fatigued. You needed rest. And then when you look at some of the coaches and some of the organizations and the decisions that they made, because it's really not about the players half the time.